opportunity claim. But when I became a father 23 years ago, my life changed. Before that happened, it was all about me. It was all about Ryan. And to be honest, I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I had no idea. But from the moment that my 3 children came, well, no, that's not true. I'll tell you a funny story. For 2 weeks after my first child, I became a father. The first 2 weeks, I was walking around thinking, why did this happen? How could this, I knew how it happened, but why did this happen? I am not qualified to be a dad. And I remember looking at this blob of flesh, and I'm rocking it, and she's screaming at me, and I thought, I don't even like her. But something happened one night about 3 a.m. as I was trying to rock the baby back to sleep, and my wife had been breastfeeding, and she was miserable, and she's crying, and this little baby's crying, and I looked down at Savannah, and at that moment, I said, I'm a father. And I loved my daughter ever since, and my children have become my why. Everything I do is about helping my children to have a better life. Now, that's not included only in their surrounding space, what I can provide for them, what I can do for them, how I can coach and mentor them. It's about the world that we live in. I was fortunate to come across the company when I was 23 years old. I was working retail, I was selling shoes, and I happened to sell a whole bunch of shoes to a guy named Scott Short. Scott was our North America's president for many, many years. And Scott came into 39 West DC Cutter. If any of you are locals, I probably sold you shoes there. If you're not wearing shoes, I was a terrible salesman. But I suckered Scott into 6 pairs of shoes. And at that conversation, Scott learned that I had spent time in Korea. I spoke Korean. He said, Ryan, we're opening Korea. Come apply for a job. And so I said, okay. So I went down, applied for the job. I got rejected 3 times. On the 4th time, my boss, the guy that kept interviewing me, I just said, listen, I'm going to continue to come back. You might as well hire me. I think they offered the position to 3 other people. Nobody took it, and I ended up accepting it. Fast forward 6 months. I'm sitting in my first Nu Skin Global Convention. Pre-COVID, by the way, we actually got together with all the people in the world, 12, 15,000 people. That wasn't all the people, it was a fraction. But I sat there listening in the Vivint Arena, it was called the Delta Center, to 3 young, at the time, entrepreneurs. Blake Roney, Sandy Tillotson, and Steve Lund. And they talked about this mission of being a force for good by empowering people to improve lives. Every conversation that they had was about how do we become a force for good? How do we empower more people to improve lives? And at the time, I thought that was an interesting idea, but it didn't really hit me until I started to travel internationally a year or 2 later. We opened Korea, and I saw tens of thousands of people rushing into Seoul to find a better life. And then we went to Thailand, and we went to Singapore, and we went to the Philippines, and then we went over to China, and then we went over to London and the UK, and then Germany, and then Japan. And over the course of my travels, I've hit nearly all 50 countries, and I've spent beautiful time with amazing people like you, all who are focused on this mission. That's what this business is all about. I'm going to come back to that in just a moment. Let's talk about the future and where we see as a company this company going. Nu Skin has been around for 38 years. I'll talk about that more in a moment. But this is truly amazing today when the average lifespan of a Fortune 500 company is 7 years. 7. We've been around for 38 years. This mission is meaningful, it's powerful, and it changes lives. But let's look forward to the future. What's the world going to look like in 2030? How many of you have bought Oculus glasses already? If you have Oculus, raise your hand. Nerds. No. I have Oculus glasses, and they make me so sick to my stomach because I'm always walking on stuff that doesn't exist, and I'm playing around. But in 2030, guess what? You're going to be watching events like this on a sports arena sitting front row. You can actually do that today. Watching the Utah Jazz win a championship in 2030. Any Jazz fans? It's likely not going to happen. My buddy just bought the team and I was talking to him about it. And I said, Ryan, why did you buy the team? Because they're never going to win. He goes, no, we're going to win. We're going to win. And I thought, man, the perpetual optimism of Utah Jazz fans. In any case, in 2030, we're going to be listening and watching things virtually. We're all going to live in virtual lives. The world is going to be a different place at that time for our children. And by the way, it's going to be different, and it's either going to be good or bad, but it's going to be what we all make it. Is that right? The world will be what we make it. But in this time, as we work towards this, there are three mega trends that will transform the way you live and your Nu Skin business. So let's go through those real quickly. First is digital connectivity. How many of you have a mobile phone? Okay, a few of you. Guess what? By the end of this year, I venture to say that 99% of you will have a mobile phone, a smartphone, and there will still be 1% of you that says, I've got a flip phone and I'm sticking to it. Because this social media thing's hogwash. It's not going to happen. All of us live digitally connected lives. How many of you have digital connected watches? How many of your automobiles are connected? McKinsey estimates a $15 trillion economy will emerge over digital connectivity over the next 8 years. $15 trillion is roughly the size of the entire China economy, the entire market of China's economy. $15 trillion of that. And guess what? Beauty and wellness is one of the top categories that we are going to see emergent growth. Today, beauty and wellness is not even called out in the McKinsey report. They don't even have it on the radar. And yet, we are seeing, and we're going to talk about this, how Nu Skin is going first and forward into digital connectivity. The second mega trend that we're dealing with is social commerce. Social commerce, think of e-commerce. How many of you were alive when the internet started? Raise your hand. Do you remember this? The dot-com boom? How many of you bought pet food from pets.com? Okay, we're getting too specific here. E-commerce has disrupted retail. It has completely shifted the way we all shop. Is that true? Is it true? Did any of you buy anything today via e-commerce? Anyone place an Amazon order? Fantastic. Let me push it one step further. How many of you bought anything from Instagram today? A few of you? How many of you have ever bought anything from Instagram? Okay, how many have never bought anything from Instagram? Put your hand up. Okay, you guys are losers. Listen. Instagram is the best thing that ever happened to me in my shopping career. I've bought shoes. I bought 8 scooters from China 2.5 years ago. I'm still waiting for them, but I bought them. And someday they're going to show up, and when they do, I have 8 of them. Sometimes I get suckered into buying on Instagram, but most of the time it turns out really well. Social media or social commerce, e-commerce conducted through social media, is going to completely disrupt e-commerce. Companies like Amazon are trying to figure out how to leverage influencers, by the way, does this sound familiar? Affiliates and influencers to promote products via social media. Why is this so important? Because advertising is all about going where consumers' eyeballs are. How many of you have already looked at Instagram today? Okay, the rest of you are lying. Everyone's looked at Instagram. See how I manipulate the crowd to get what I want? Instagram, WhatsApp, WeChat, TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook. This is where consumers spend their time. When we get to millennials and Gen Zs, this is where we spend too much time, in my argument, because there still is a physical world. But that's how people learn about products. $3.4 trillion, according to Grandview Research, $3.4 trillion of commerce will be conducted via social media by 2028. $3.4 trillion, to give you a relative size, it's roughly the size of Germany's entire economy, okay? So we're talking about enormous opportunity in social commerce. And the last one is the gig economy. Now let me ask you, how many of you took an Uber or a Lyft on your way over here? A few of you? Okay, how many of you actually recruited your Uber or Lyft driver? Did you really? Yes! Good job. I love to hear that because I can't think of a worse job in life than to sit in traffic 24/7 making $8 an hour, which is the average wage according to them. The reality is the gig economy is fueling a flexible way of living. People are increasingly wanting flexibility in their life. They're increasingly wanting the ability to define how, when, where, and with whom they spend their time. This gig economy will continue to grow in popularity. It's disrupting workforces. As an employer, Nu Skin, we are now having to reevaluate the way we hire and find talent because talent doesn't want to do the 9-to-5 typical job anymore. This gig economy is expected to be nearly $500 billion by the end of 2023, and it's growing at 30% a year. That is an enormous macro trend that is shaping the way we work and the way we live, and it's enabling integration across. Now, why are these so important to this conversation that we're having? It's all about where we as a company are going. As I mentioned, Nu Skin was founded in 1984 by 3 young entrepreneurs who saw a better way to sell amazing products with all of the good, none of the bad philosophy. They understood they had this great product philosophy, and they didn't know how else to get an understanding of this all of the good, none of the bad without person-to-person representation, without having individuals explain why toxins, why alcohol, why fillers are bad for your skin. At the time, again, 1984, nobody was talking about clean products in 1984. Nobody was doing that. And the only way to convey that message was through individuals, one-on-one, explaining it. Now, these founders, Sandy, she's a visionary, absolutely. I don't know if they envisioned social media coming, possibly. What they did do at the very beginning was form the original social network. Well before, was it MySpace? Well before MySpace, well before Facebook, Nu Skin was doing social networking, but it was just offline because there was no internet. This company today, 38 years later, as I mentioned, still in business, a multi-billion-dollar company listed on the New York Stock Exchange. 50 countries, millions of people involved and have changed their lives, touched their lives through Nu Skin. In fact, I was doing math in my head. Over 30 million people have touched Nu Skin, our products, our opportunity, our culture over the course of this time. That's amazing impact. And as we look forward, you say, how do we take this rich heritage as a company and transition that heritage moving forward with a vision that's even brighter than the future or the past? And that vision we call New Vision 2025. Now I want you to know this is not a glitch. This blinking sign, Jeff Nemelka does all these slides for me. Jeff's awesome. Jeff physically went out and bought this sign. This is an actual sign. He's going to hang it in my office. But this New Vision 2025 is about taking our rich heritage and transforming us. How do we become the world's leading integrated beauty and wellness company that's powered by all of you, our dynamic affiliate opportunity platform? I want to talk briefly about this vision. And by the way, I totally get it, Heather. I only have 9 minutes and 46 seconds, so I'm going to move quick. Stay awake. Is everyone awake, by the way? Is anyone sleeping? Okay, fantastic. Let's talk about the first part of this vision, integrated beauty and wellness. Do you realize that Nu Skin is one of the only companies in the world, and certainly multi-billion-dollar companies in the world, that does holistic beauty and wellness, inside and outside? We are a very unique company. As consumers start to understand that what we put on our skin or what we ingest into our body work together to either construct or deconstruct the way we look and feel. Joe Chang, who you'll hear from, I think, tomorrow, is going to talk about the science behind our product and how we start to look at integrated beauty and wellness. The products we take, Collagen Plus. How many of you have tried Collagen Plus? What do you think? How many of you you have tried there's a new flavor. Maybe I'm giving something away here. Am I giving this away? Buck, am I giving this away? We're not. Have you tried the strawberry? Have you? Fantastic. Have you tried the tequila flavor? I would advise not. Collagen Plus is a great example of a holistic product. How many of you are using LumaSpa with your Collagen Plus? If you are, you're receiving the maximum optimal benefits of both products. If you're not, you're getting like a subsegment of the value. That's just one example. We have many more combinations to come. Integrated beauty and wellness is what we are shaping our business to become. There are some really exciting things coming. Today, you're going to hear about Empowerme. Now, this term Empowerme has become very confusing to a lot of people. Ryan, when you say Empowerme, is that a new product? Let me ask you, is it a new product? No! Empowerme is a movement. Empowerme is a movement to empower you to build your business how you want to build it, to empower you with the right products, with the right programs, with the right digital tools and platform for you to scale your business to whatever level you aspire to scale it to. Empowerme is about how we empower our consumers, all of your consumers, to have rich, meaningful experiences, to understand their needs, to validate what those needs are. They don't have Joe Chang sitting next to them as they're putting on their cosmetics and they're using it, and Joe's saying, oh, I wouldn't use that. Oh, I wouldn't use that ingredient. Oh, I wouldn't use that one. You got to take more tea green. Nobody's doing that. With Empowerme and our digital tools, we will empower consumers to understand their consumer experience to get the optimal value. Now think how valuable that will be. When a consumer comes to Nu Skin and you bring them in, and you might bring them in and you might sell them a LumaSpa. Jeez, a LumaSpa. You sell them what's called a LumaSpa. And when you sell them a LumaSpa, is there any way that you can represent the 400 other products to that individual to make sure that they choose the next 1 or 2 or 5 that will enhance their business? I know Don is good, but Don doesn't have enough time to represent 400 different products to every single consumer, and neither do you. But once you bring them in and they get onto the Vera app and they download that app and they start to use it and they start to understand, ooh, my LumaSpa works well with Collagen Plus. And Collagen Plus, man, that works well with New Biome. And New Biome, wow, that works really, really well with LifePak. And they start to understand why and how these products work together. Imagine the value that comes to your business through that. Imagine the value, unfortunate, if one of these new affiliates that you bring in through social media, and she sells 37 tubes of toothpaste, and she kills it, and Rebecca is so excited because she brought in this person who sold 37 tubes of toothpaste, and for some reason, that affiliate leaves. What happens to the 37 customers that affiliate brought in today? They're gone. They're completely gone. I can't tell you the number of flight attendants in 7 million miles that I've flown that said, Nu Skin, I knew Nu Skin once. I once bought their X, Y, or Z product. I'm talking dozens, if not 100 or 2. Now, why flight attendants? I don't know, because I'm always on planes and I get bored. But they find these products through some amazing affiliate who then decides to do something else, and they're lost. With Empowerme, we're able to connect them back to you as the upline so that you don't lose those customers, so that you can keep them. You start to see the multiplication power of Empowerme. We have other tools that we're bringing in, and Heather, I'm so sorry, we're at 4 minutes and 34 seconds left. I gotta talk faster. We are now connecting products to our digital ecosystem. How many of you already have the LumaSpa IO? I know our team elites have it. LumaSpa IO. How many of you don't yet have it? It's kind of a bad thing to yell about, right? Yeah, I don't have it. Listen, if you haven't tried LumaSpa 1, hold off for a couple of days. Buy Lumi.io. LumaSpa.io, input-output, is an entirely new, integrated experience. We're taking our world's #1 beauty device system platform, according to Euromonitor, and we're connecting it digital. Every one of your customers who uses her Lumi or his Lumi Spa IO is going to next know, what other products can I use? How do I use it more effectively? How do I get the optimum benefit so that my microbiome in my skin is not disrupted? I'm using fancy words and I don't know what they mean, but Joe told me to say that. These devices that are digitally connected are going to transform the beauty and wellness industry. A $1.2 trillion. Now, Ryan, you always talk about money. Yeah, my brain is all about money. It's the weirdest thing. $1.2 trillion industry. We are the first to connect beauty devices. Is that not a leading position? So listen, I would love that all of you use and buy LumiSpa IO. I would love it even more if you start to sell LumiSpa IO when it comes out. This is the first product. Think about it. How many of you have Teslas? How many of you have Peloton bikes? Peloton, so I get on my Peloton this morning. Laura, I know. Did you get the update this morning? No? Okay, you're going to be surprised when you get onto Peloton. So I get on Peloton 5 this morning. If I don't work out if I'm not done by 6, I'm behind, right? So I get on my Peloton and I get ready to go, and all of a sudden the update comes up. And I'm like, that means 2 more minutes of cycling because I got to get going. And it uploads, goes around, it uploads, and guess what pops up? How many kilojoules I'm burning every session. Isn't that exciting? Listen, I was excited. Laura, is that exciting? If you knew how many kilojoules you're going to burn, would that excite you? Absolutely. Anyone that's a Peloton fan wants to know how much energy. This LumiSpa device is the first product in 38 years. The first product in 38 years that will get better with time. Every time we upload the software, the firmware, the app, it gets better. The features, the functionality, the clinical studies and what they will do for your skin. We can improve that product over time. This is not, as Joe says, your mother's LumiSpa. This is LumiSpa IO. This is going to be an exciting movement, and I'm so excited for you to experience it. We're new at this. We're the first company to do beauty and wellness in an integrated way. But every download cycle is going to get a better and better product. So I'm excited about that. Second part of the mission, and look, I see Heather, I've got 1 minute and 6 seconds, I'll hurry. We've got affiliate-powered social commerce. That's where all of you come in. I want to talk briefly about something that's a phenomenon that you all know about that's happening in the US, and that is around the power of retail. How many of you are selling bulk kits today? Raise your hand if you sell bulk kits. How many of you are not selling bulk kits? Raise your hand and get excited about it. Okay, we got a couple of you. Listen. The power of retail. The compensation structure in Nu Skin has always been designed with a rich, and by rich I don't mean economically, I'm saying a healthy, plentiful retail profit margin. These products can be sold at retail, and the groups and organizations that are selling these at retail are making significant improvements to their income opportunities. Utilize the power of retail in your business. We are introducing with LumiSpa a new concept called One Price. One Price is how we incorporate or institutionalize retail profit for the affiliate for every single LumiSpa that's sold. You're going to hear more about that throughout the week, but I want you to know that there is so much more in our compensation structure and retail profit that so many people today are not leveraging to benefit your business, and I encourage you to learn more about it. The last thing I want to talk about is our digital ecosystem. You've heard about the input-output IoT devices. You've heard me mention our commitment to digital and social, how we're going to do that. We've committed $500 million of investment over the next 3 years to build out our digital ecosystem. We're launching 2 apps, Vera and Stella. Have you downloaded those apps yet? If you've downloaded them, yell, say yes. If you haven't downloaded them, but you're going to download them today, say yes. So everyone's going to download these apps and start to use them. These apps get smarter as more people use them. Using AI and ML, artificial intelligence and machine learning, we can find better ways to help you do your business as you leverage Vera and Stella app. You're going to hear more about that, I think, from Emily later. I saw Emily down here somewhere. Emily, is that right? You're going to talk more about this? I want you to know these tools, it's like having Joe Chang in your pocket and having Buck McMurray in your other pocket. Now, I don't know if you want Buck in your pocket, but I'm just saying, you've got help in these digital tools. So let me close out here by talking about our purpose. Blake Roney, one of the first conventions I ever heard him speak at, he said a quote. He said, while Force for Good might only be 5% of what we do, it's 95% of who we are. If you are not involved in any of our Force for Good or Nourish the Children initiatives, I would highly encourage you to get involved. Get involved in this. Change the world. Tony Robbins has a whole series on the 6 needs of human beings. You know what the last one is? Contribution. If you don't find a way to give back to the world that you're putting into, you're not going to have a fulfilled life. Force for Good does so much good. So you all, and I can say we because actually Force for Good and Nourish the Children are the only programs that employees can participate in. I didn't know if you knew that. We can't recruit people, we can't sell product. We can contribute to Force for Good and we can become Nourish the Children ambassadors. I'm a Nourish the Children ambassador. I give every month to this cause. 750 million meals. Over 750 million meals. Guys, we are approaching $1 billion. If you are not at Force for Good or a Nourish the Children ambassador, I would encourage you to sign up and start contributing to this movement. It is saving lives of children every day. Over 120,000 children fed every day. Get involved. You're going to hear some amazing news from Justin in just a little bit about how we bring Force for Good to the Americas in an even more meaningful way, and I can't wait to talk about that with you. I'm closing out here by talking about you. You all are the secret sauce of Nu Skin. We can talk about these amazing products and Empowerme and how exciting these apps are, and social commerce and the one price, and we can talk about the Force for Good and all the good that we do. But guess what? If this audience was empty, Nu Skin would be zero. I wouldn't be here. I would probably be taking garbage cans because that's about all I'm qualified to do. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. I want you to know the reason we exist as a company, the reason I'm here, the reason every one of our team members is here. If they don't have a sincere desire to empower you to build your business your way, they last on the team about 15 months on average. I've had to let people go on my own management team because they didn't have that sincere desire. Does that mean we're perfect? No. Does that mean we're going to make a whole lot of mistakes? Yeah. Ask our team elites. The patience it takes. But we're doing new things. Nobody's ever done Empowerme. Nobody's ever done IoT connected devices before. Nobody's ever leaned into social commerce to try to define a new way of commerce using powerful affiliates. We will always do innovative things. It's in our DNA. All you have to do is sit with our founders for 1 minute and you hear the innovation is what fuels this business, and it's all for you. I want to encourage you during this convention to think seriously about your why. You all said you had one, but I want you to go deeper. I want you to